Are Labour's Maori MPs at odds with their leader over charter schools? Well, speaking on TVNZ's Q&A programme at the weekend, Labour list candidate and Maori campaign director Willie Jackson implied Labour's policy on charter schools was up for negotiation.
Well, they'll get rid of the name and they'll get rid of the concept, but the principle of turning kids' lives around is something that Chris Hipkins believes in and all of Labour believes in. So call the school whatever you like.
Andrew Little, the Labour leader, is in our Wellington studio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Is the ground shifting on charter schools? Are they now seen as a good thing?
No, not at all. Labour's policy is very clear. We are opposed to charter schools. We don't like the idea that charter schools have been set up to allow untrained, non-registered teachers in front of kids and not teaching the school curriculum. So Willie Jackson is absolutely right, and we all share the same objective. We want schools and a learning environment that is going to ensure that children are prepared for success, have the basis on which to achieve success, and we have to have a school system that creates the environment to allow that to happen.
You're not really all on the same page here, though, because within the last year, Willie Jackson has been a vocal advocate for charter schools. Indeed, some quotes, if I can just read you them. It says here, "I truly believe in the partnership school model." That's a direct quote from Willie Jackson. Also, he says he gives Chris Hipkins an E for trying to scrap them.
Willie Jackson is a Labour Party candidate, and he signs up to the Labour Party policy. That's it. That's a fact, and that's is what has happened and is going to happen. But Willie Jackson, and I share absolutely and utterly with Willie Jackson the fact that he wants Maori children to succeed in our education system. We need that, because the reality is that when it comes to poor performance in education, Maori children are overrepresented at the wrong end of the statistics. We just heard the item about kura kaupapa. The Labour Party is the party of kura kaupapa. We're the party of special character schools. We understand the need for good learning environments and to get the best out of kids. That hasn't gone away, but we do have some bottom lines, which is that the people who stand in front of our children got to be trained, registered teachers, and they've got to teach to the national curriculum.
You say that he wants the same thing as you, but I'm not quite sure that is right, because you knew his views, but yet you approached him to stand for Labour, didn't you?
I'm not quite sure where that question gets us. We have an education. The Labour Party.
Well, you have a candidate who doesn't share your views on charter schools.
We have an education policy that is the Labour policy, and that is about kids having an education system and a learning environment where they get to succeed.
So are you going to ask him to pull himself in on this then?
Willie Jackson signs up to Labour policies. He has done. And he signs up to the very thing we want, which is success for our children.
But he runs a charter school, Mr. Little.
Yeah, he does.
So how does that mesh with being a Labour candidate?
Well, he's got a school where every teacher in it is trained and registered, and he's got a school that teaches to the national curriculum.
It's still a partnership school, though. It's still a charter school.
So if the objective is about the best environment for our kids and every child learning and achieving success, he totally signs up to that. You see,
he signs up to the partnership school model. He runs a partnership school. You're saying, though, that Labour Party policy is not that. I'm just pointing out that there is a massive gulf between those two things.
No, there's not a massive
gulf. He's your
gulf.
Candidate.
There's not a massive gulf between it, because what we all know and understand, and look, Labour understands this absolutely. We have always been, since our inception as a political party.
But he can't separate himself in this way, can he?
No, listen, because it's important we get this very clear and absolutely straight, and why education is so important. Labour has always been the party of education. We were when Peter Fraser was Minister of Education and created a world-class education system. Since I've been leader, we did a massive project called The Future of Work. Grant Robertson led it. And at the heart of that project, at the heart of the conclusions, the consensus that we achieved across the board with business, with unions, with Māori, iwi, all sorts of interests and stakeholders, they all said we've got to get education right. Everybody wants education right. And what lies at the heart of good education is good teachers in front of our kids. That's the environment that we want. And Willie Jackson has totally signed up to that, and he wants it for Māori kids, and he should do. And we need more advocates for better education for Māori children. And we all want it for every child.
But you're going to say you're going to close the charter schools, aren't you, if you get into government come September? So does that mean that the charter school that Willie Jackson currently is part of running, that will shut?
We are going to have an education system and learning environments that are going to ensure that our children achieve success. because nothing less will do. The reason why we did
I understand that, Mr. Little, but with respect, that doesn't answer the question, which is that charter school going to close?
It totally answers the question. It's about an education system. So the reason why we subscribe to an education system that gives every child the best chance of success that they can achieve is we need our education system to be the great leveller in a sense. So regardless of the circumstances to which you're born, you get world-class, high-quality education to prepare you for success. And that's become even more important in the world that we're facing in the future with technology changing what we do and how we do it.
But is the charter school that Willie Jackson is part of running, is that going to close?
We're going to have an education system of, and it will include kura kaupapa, it will include special character schools, it will include all the publicly funded types of schools.
Let me put this another way. Let me put this another way. Is the school that Willie Jackson is part of running, is that going to remain open should you become the next government leader?
We will have schools, including...
It's a really simple yes or no.
I know it is, and I know because...
But this is important to people because this is clearly something very close to Willie Jackson. It's very close to him. And this is also, it would seem, direct competition. It's directly opposite what Labour Party policy is. So is the charter school that Willie Jackson is part of running, is that going to remain open?
I cannot answer that question without challenging your fundamental proposition, which is that these somehow are diametrically opposed. They are not. And let me go back over it again. What we want in terms of learning environments, what are the bottom lines for good quality education, and the schools that will be publicly funded will be
Are you not going to give us a direct answer to that question, Mr. Little?
Well, the answer is pretty clear. We will have schools, including special character schools and good learning environments for all children that have as their bottom lines trained, registered teachers in front of children. So you will have special character
schools. Is that going to be the new name for charter schools under a Labour government?
Well, we've had special character schools for many, many years. It was the Labour...
Is that how the charter schools are going to be allowed to remain open, Mr. Little?
No. But I think that you run the risk of turning this into this simplistic argument, mindless argument, with all due respect, that, charter school, no charter school, Willie hates, public schools and Labour hates charter schools.
You're the ones who said you want to get rid of charter schools.
We do, yes, because the charter school model, with its completely distorted formula for funding, is not sustainable. It's a con.
So is this a rebranding exercise?
No, it's not a rebranding exercise. It's about a good quality education system that gives every child, regardless of the circumstances of their birth, the conditions and the chance for success. Nothing less will do in New Zealand in the 21st century. We have a ways to go, because what's happening now, the education system now, is still failing far too many. And even with the so-called elevated NCA level elevated level of achievement for NCA, it's actually just smoke and mirrors. And we've got to change that if we're going to prepare our children for success for that world of the future, and we're going to do that.
Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming into the studio this morning, Andrew Little, the Labour Party leader. It's now 26 minutes to 8.